This is Duke University.
There are some good things in the Treasury plan. Unfortunately, the details are very light, but there are some positives, and let me try to detail those. The first one is, I believe, very significant, and that is that the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC appear to be working together. And that's a big change from the Paulson era, because the previous incarnation, it seemed like the Federal Reserve was going in and doing things to clean up the mess that was created by the Treasury. So the previous Treasury Secretary was flip-flopping back and forth on what to actually do, and it seemed like the Fed was doing their own thing, taking things into their own hands. This crisis now is even more serious, and I think that it's really important that everybody works together to develop a consistent strategy to deal with the crisis. So the number one positive thing is that people are working together. And one advantage that the Treasury Secretary has is his direct experience with the New York Fed. So he is uniquely equipped to understand what the Fed can and cannot do, and to develop a plan that, that will actually work. So that's a positive. There are some other positives. One thing is that it is now the case that in order to get new equity capital from the government, a financial institution has to qualify for it. So in the previous incarnation, it would simply be that you're big, therefore you get money. So it doesn't matter if you're a good bank or a troubled institution, here is some equity injection. And we've suffered greatly because of this, because we've dropped hundreds of billions of dollars. And when you put that money into troubled institutions, it basically just sits there. Like, we want that money to be lent out to consumers and small and medium-sized businesses. We want the credit system to be jump-started. But if you just give the money and then the bank sits on it, puts it in reserves to reduce their risk because they're troubled, they're scared, right, that they could go under at some point, then nothing happens. And we don't get the so-called multiplier effect. So this was a significant mistake that was made in the previous TARP that appears to be on its way to being corrected. The other thing is that there's explicit mention of some additional kind of reporting that the government will get when they put money into a financial institution. And like in the press, the main thing is the salary caps and you know, minimizing the dividend. But to me, a more significant addition is that the banks actually have to report on loan creation. Now, it's very vague in the actual document, but I think this is really important, that we need proof. If we are putting in equity, we need proof that it's actually being used for loan creation so that consumers, small and medium-sized businesses, large businesses, that this money is actually making its way into the system. We don't want a black hole situation where our hard-earned taxpayer money is just dropped and nothing happens. Okay, so this is a way so that we get to see something about the return on the investment that we're actually making. So I think those three things are are positives in terms of the plan. Now, I do have some reservations about the plan, and we'll talk about those next.